Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really fundamental shift in marketing strategy. We're talking about a move away from the world of guesswork and into the realm of predictive certainty. We're going to explore a powerful model called conversion probability scoring. And look, this isn't just another tactic. It's a way to identify your most valuable website visitors, the ones who are truly ready to buy, often before they even realize it themselves. This is all about transforming your entire approach, moving from just shouting a generic message to everyone to engineering a precise, impactful conversation with the right person at the exact right moment.
You know, the greatest strategic failure in marketing today is what we call the equality trap. It's this belief that every single visitor to your site is equally likely to buy. And that assumption? It's just deeply flawed. We treat every visitor the same. We show them the same pop-ups, the same offers, all while ignoring the neurological fact that their digital body language is already telling us who is going to say yes. We're ignoring the reality that a huge chunk of our visitors are just tourists. And by treating them the same as genuine prospects, we're basically setting ourselves up for failure.
And the cost of falling into this trap is, well, it's staggering. For a lot of companies, a full 90% of their marketing budget, their time, and their team's creative energy is spent on these website tourists. These are people who are just browsing, with absolutely no real intent to purchase. To put it bluntly, they are neurologically incapable of buying from you today. And yet, we spend the vast majority of our resources trying to convince them. This isn't just inefficient, it is the single biggest source of waste in the entire marketing ecosystem. So in this explainer, we are going to completely dismantle that old model. First, we'll start by digging a little deeper into this equality trap. Then we'll learn how to decode something called digital body language. From there, we'll unpack the core mechanism, the intent signal matrix, and really understand the psychology that makes it so powerful. Then we'll walk through how to build your very own predictive engine, and finally, we'll see the ultimate outcome, a complete shift from guesswork to near certainty in your marketing.
All right, so let's get right into it. The equality trap is, at its heart, a crisis of resource allocation. It's built on this really outdated idea that all traffic is good traffic. By treating every visitor as an equal prospect, we just dilute our efforts, We waste our best discount offers on people who couldn't care less, we have our most skilled salespeople talking to people who aren't ready, and we burn ad dollars chasing clicks that will never, ever convert. This isn't just inefficient, it's strategically crippling.
So, what's the fix? Well, it's a pretty radical shift in strategy. We have to move away from a volume-based approach where we measure success by traffic and impressions and move to a precision-based model. It's about surgically identifying those few visitors who are showing genuine buyer intent. So the crucial takeaway here is this. You have to stop chasing the tourists and start focusing all of your energy, your budget, and your best tactics on closing the prospects who are already halfway to the finish line. So how do we find these high-intent prospects? Well, the answer is in learning to read the signals they're already giving off. Think about it. In the real world, we all understand body language. A person leaning in, making eye contact. The same thing exists online. Every click, every scroll, every moment they hesitate, that's a piece of data. We call this digital body language. It's the trail of micro actions a user leaves behind. And while individually these actions might seem small, together they create a hidden blueprint that reveals their true underlying intent. This brings us to a really crucial distinction. You see, most marketing systems are only built to listen to the vocal minority. These are the users who take an obvious action. They fill out a contact form, they add a product to their cart, they basically raise their hand. But here's the thing, that's a lagging indicator. By the time they do that, their decision is pretty much made. The real opportunity, the hidden gold mine, is with the silent buyers. These are the users who are showing massive intent signals, like visiting the pricing page 3 times or reading your refund policy, but they haven't taken that final obvious step. These are leading indicators of intent, and most marketers completely ignore them, which leaves them vulnerable to competitors who are better at reading these subtle signals. So, if digital body language is the raw data, how do we actually make sense of it all? Well, that brings us to the engine that processes everything, the intent signal matrix. This is the technical and strategic heart of the entire system. It's the framework we use to translate those subtle, abstract behaviors into a concrete, predictive score. So what is it exactly? Well, an intent signal matrix is basically a dynamic scoring system. It's designed to do one thing and one thing only: translate what a user does on your site in real time into a score that predicts what they're likely to do next. The whole goal is to assign a mathematical probability of conversion to every single visitor instantly. This lets you automatically sort your audience, focusing your most valuable resources, like your best discounts or your top sales agent's time, exclusively on those high-probability buyers. So here's how it works in practice. The system is built on what we call weighted micro-actions, because let's face it, not all behaviors are created equal. Someone just glancing at your homepage is not the same as someone studying your pricing page. A visit to the pricing page might be worth, say, plus 10 points. But clicking on the refund policy, that signals some serious consideration, so maybe that's worth plus 15. Watching a full demo could be plus 25. And downloading a detailed case study, a pretty big investment of their time, that could be worth plus 40. Each action adds to a user's total score, building this real-time graph of their intent. But here's a key piece of the puzzle. It's not just what they do, it's when and how fast they do it. This is the critical concept of behavioral velocity. The system has to prioritize what they're doing right now over what they did a month ago. A user who visits your pricing page once a week for a month, that's a casual browser. That's low velocity. But a user who hits the pricing page, the features page, and the FAQ page all within a 2-minute span, that's high velocity. That's an action burst, and it's a huge signal that they are in an active decision window. That is the moment to engage, and that high-velocity user should be scored exponentially higher. Okay, so finally, all of this data builds up to something called the predictive threshold. By analyzing your past successful sales, you figure out a specific score, a sort of point of no return. Now, when a live visitor's score crosses this threshold, the system automatically flags them as a high-probability buyer. And this is the trigger. The system doesn't wait for permission, it instantly deploys a personalized intervention. Maybe it's a perfectly timed discount offer, or a proactive chat from your best agent, or a high-priority alert to your sales team. You're no longer reacting, you are proactively engaging at the absolute perfect moment. So we've covered the mechanics, the how. But for this to truly click, we need to understand the psychology behind it. Why is this predictive model so incredibly effective? Well, it's because it doesn't just track clicks. It actually mirrors these fundamental, predictable patterns of human behavior when we're making a big decision. One of the key principles at play here is something called the goal gradient effect. You know that feeling when you're super close to finishing something and you suddenly speed up? That's a real psychological thing. It says that as a person gets closer to a goal, their effort increases. And on a website, this shows up as those action bursts we just talked about. A user rapidly jumping between the features page, the pricing page, and the FAQ is showing the goal gradient effect in action. They feel like they're close to a solution. Their behavior gets more urgent, and our scoring system correctly interprets this burst of activity as a massive spike in their conviction. And what's even cooler is that this whole scoring system acts as a mathematical mirror of how we humans build trust. Think about it. Each time a visitor has a positive interaction on your site, a demo video solves a problem for them, a case study resonates with them, their belief in your solution gets stronger. Their brain is constantly updating its own belief based on new evidence. Our probability score does the exact same thing. It is a mathematical reflection of that buyer's internal, invisible trust-building process. So this isn't just some clever marketing tactic. It's actually grounded on the fundamental way the human mind makes decisions. Okay, this all sounds really powerful in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice? Let's move into the practical application. I want to give you a clear, actionable framework so you can start building your own predictive engine. And this isn't something that's just reserved for giant corporations. Any organization can implement these principles. It really boils down to a 3-step process. First, you have to execute a retrospective winner audit. You have to look backwards to be able to predict forwards. Dive into your analytics and analyze the complete digital journey of your past customers who actually bought from you. What sequence of pages did they visit? What was their velocity? Find the specific digital body language that has the strongest link to an actual purchase. Second, you build the scoring engine. Using the hard data from your audit, you can now assign point values to every key page in action. This is where you turn your insights into a functional, automated model. And finally, and you cannot skip this one, you must constantly measure signal accuracy. The model is never finished. You have to create a feedback loop, continuously tracking what percentage of your high-probability visitors actually converted. This lets you relentlessly refine your scores and get better and better over time. Now, when you successfully implement this framework, the change is, well, it's profound. It represents a complete strategic evolution. You leave behind that world of ambiguity, of just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. You enter a world that's governed by data and probability. And this is the inevitable and incredibly powerful outcome of adopting a truly predictive model. So after all this work, the audit, the scoring, the psychological analysis, what's the ultimate result? What's the core transformation that actually takes place inside your marketing organization? This is it. This is the ultimate result. You transform from a hope-based marketer into a probability-based engineer. You stop hoping the right people see your ad. You stop hoping your message resonates. Instead, you start using the cold, hard logic of behavioral data to engineer outcomes. You can actually predict revenue not based on gut feelings, but on the cumulative probability scores of your live traffic. It fundamentally changes the entire conversation about marketing's value.
And that brings us to our final and most essential insight. The best marketing doesn't push people through a funnel, it pulls them toward value. It's not about coercion, it's about recognition. It's about building a system that's so finely tuned to intent that it simply identifies the people who are already running full speed towards the value you offer. And then it just clears the path for them. You're not creating demand, you are precisely and efficiently recognizing it. And that changes everything.